Are you drowning in tasks and losing focus on what really matters in your business? Did you know that every hour spent on invoicing, emails, data entry, or calendar chaos is an hour not spent growing your business? That's where Oak City Admins comes in. We handle the busy work so you can lead, scale, and breathe easier. For less than the cost of a full-time hire, you get a dedicated expert who pays for themselves in productivity. If the biggest obstacle in running your small business is delegating to elevating, let Oak City Admins help you grow. Smart support, serious results.
She has been captivating audiences for years with her wit and charm, straight from the networking floor to give you all the dirt. It's Dusta!
Hey y'all, and welcome to another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt, the show where we dive deep into the journey of entrepreneurship with those who took the plunge and all the ups and downs that come with it. I'm your host, Dusta, and today we're joined with Shari with Joyful Human Collective. Welcome, and thank you for coming out today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this.
Me too. I want to learn more about you. So let's start off with, where are you from and how did you end up in the Triangle?
So this one's kind of funny. I grew up in Utah and then moved to Northeast Tennessee. We were there for about 7.5 years. Then we went to Indy for about 5 years. And we just moved here in the Triangle last July. So we got here, my husband's job moved us both from Tennessee to Indy, but it's the same job that brought us here. So now we're here. And don't know how long that'll be, hopefully for a little while, because we're ready to kind of plant a little deeper roots.
I understand that. That's the reason I came here too. It's the first time in my life I was like, all right, I'm going to plant roots. And then I did. And now I'm like, I did the math and I was like, man, I've been here 12 years. Time flies. It really does.
Yeah.
So I hope you have the same joyful experience that I do. It's been wonderful building a life here. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. It's very family friendly, but also, adult friendly. So you have things to do for both.
Yes, absolutely. We've found that so far. So we're enjoying it so much so far. Ugh.
No, it's really great. And something that I've discovered that they don't have where I'm from is like they have little cocktail lounges and burlesque shows and just kind of like different things that I was like, wow, this is really exciting. So that's what I've been getting into recently.
Yeah, all fun things. We explore a lot of nature, so we're really excited. Indiana was very, very flat. And growing up out west, there's a lot of outdoorsy things and there's mountains, like real mountains. Tennessee was good with those rolling hills, and then Indiana was very flat. So it's nice to be back where there's a little bit more nature and not so much everything is corn and flatness. So we're happy about that.
I understand that. My mom is from Indiana and I grew up in Florida. And so the first time I go to Indiana, I was like, I see why you came to Florida because it's nothing but cornfields.
Right? It was a great place. It served its purpose, and it always will hold a special place in our hearts. We do love it there.
That's really good. So moving on, let's find out about you. Tell me what you do and who's your ideal client.
Yes. So I am a practitioner of something called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which really is just a fancy way of saying how words really affect the nervous system. Our words shape everything that we do, whether it's how we show up, what we believe, our communication with other people or with ourselves. It all affects everything about us. So I use neuro-linguistic programming in everything that I do. I'm a confidence and feminine embodiment coach. And so what that really means is if you've ever felt like disconnected from who you are, maybe you are working a really intense job and on the outside you have it all together. You're a very driven, high achieving kind of woman, but on the inside you realize that maybe you're not as connected to yourself as you used to be. Maybe there's this like disconnect of like, who am I really outside of all those different roles? And so my ideal client is someone who is juggling a career, motherhood, being a wife, like all these different things. And she's really good at taking care of all the things that she does. Yet the one thing she hasn't really figured out as much is taking care of herself, is really going inward and taking care of the person that she is. So I help women who want to connect more to themselves and become more confident, become more, I like to say radiant, like radiant confidence is one of the terms that I've coined of wanting to be in that I shine so everyone else can shine too. Because I really believe that when a woman steps into her true power, when she allows herself to be in all of who she is, it gives other women permission to do the same.
Absolutely. And I love that because I recently have realized that I am one of those people who radiate everywhere, right? And I never realized how inspiring that was to other people until recently when a couple of people have come to me and they're like, wow, like you're very inspiring. I really appreciate that. You're very vulnerable with people. I'm like, I was just being myself, but I didn't realize how much inspiring you can be, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So, how did you get into doing this?
It really starts, I mean, I feel like this is so common. You hear, the reason why people get into something is because of their own journey or something that they needed. And that's exactly the case for me. I was living my life. So I have 4 kids. They're all close in age, 5 years apart. I have a set of twins in the middle and then girls on the ends. And as a young mom, I was just really struggling with my identity, struggling with like, who am I outside of taking all these kids? I had all the things on the outside. I got to be a stay-at-home mom. I had a loving family. I had the house. I had like all the things. Yeah, I was still feeling really empty inside and wondering like, what is this all for? And am I doing it wrong? Just not feeling as fulfilled as I wanted to feel. And so I found personal development. I did a lot of different things before then. I always had like kind of my hand in a side hustle of sorts, whether that was like skincare and makeup. I taught piano lessons for a little bit. I did all sorts of things. I've always been in the mindset of wanting to lead and assist people. But I got into a skincare and makeup company that led me to some personal development. And once I started learning how much power I could have by taking control of my life, I was hooked. Completely changed my life. I went to an event. I'm actually going back to this event again. I go back multiple times to go serve and assist other people as well. And it really changed my life to finally understand for the first time, like, I am enough as I am. And that inspired me to want to dig deeper, to get my certifications, to assist people in the same kind of work of seeing who they truly are underneath all the masks, all the layers, all the things that they say that they are that aren't really them at the heart of who they are.
Yes, I love that because that is kind of something I'm going through personally. My children, I have 3 children. One is 19, one is 18, and the other one is 9. And I don't know who I am outside of being mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who I am outside of being caregiver and all of those things. So I love to hear that. I love that there's like an option out there to figure that out.
Yes, 100%. And that's really kind of what I do too, is I help women kind of figure out who they are, create this sense of self of who they are outside of all their labels, all their roles, all their doings, like who is Dusta inside. And that's kind of, I walk you through a journey of discovering that and deciding that. Really, I don't believe it's really you find yourself. I think it's you decide who you want to be and then you go be it.
Yes. Yes. I never thought about it like that before because I have just been, like I said, I've just been mom and I've
Mhm.
just been this, that, and the third and never really discovered who I am. And now I'm just picking up hobbies that I never thought I'd pick up. I don't know if it's age or like what. I like gardening.
Yeah.
Like me, never an outdoor person, but I love gardening now. I just, like I said, today I just laid down a bunch of mulch and I was like, I'm so proud of me getting ready for gardening season.
I love it.
So it sounds like it's just a series of definitely doing and discovering who you are. And so, say somebody comes to you
Mhm.
and they want to discover who they are. What steps do you take in order to show them?
Yeah, one thing that I love to do with all my clients, whether it's someone who's worked on personal development before or they're brand new to it, is I have this process of helping you remember who you are. I think that's something that we forget. You don't really see a little kid who is shy under the age of like 7. Like, they know who they are, they own their weird, they wear it proudly, they put together outfits that you're like, I would never wear that, but okay, like they march to the beat of their own drum. And we all used to do this as little kids, to a certain extent. Like, yes, you have kids that are a little unsure. All of that is learned behavior, by the way, which goes into the subconscious of everything. Kids are pretty much sponges up until the age of 7. We really just take on everything around us and our surroundings up until that age of how to act, how to be. But there's a time that comes in your life. I don't know when it is for you in particular, but if you're going back in your own memories, you can probably think of the first time someone questioned, like, well, why did you do that? Why are you like that? And you started to doubt yourself. There came a time where, doubt was planted. And unfortunately, that voice started to get louder, and you started to listen to that more than the voice of this is just who I am. And I'm just going to do what makes me happy and what makes it fun. And that age varies for everybody. Sometimes it's around age 9, 10, 11, especially in those teenage years, those middle school years when life can be so tricky. And so I help women remember who they are. I help them. I go through this process that's based in NLP that we uncover and we find memories of who you are, and we remind you who you are so that you can draw on that. So I love that. There's a lot of ideas out there of like, oh, well, fake it till you make it. Like, I don't believe that. I think that's total bullshit. I think that you need to act as if, like, you need to act as if the confident person you are. Act as if you already had the thing, not faking it, but truly believing like, well, if I had that, how would I show up? So yeah, I help them I remind them who they are through that process. And they have all sorts of little cool like anchors that we put on the body so that they can access that at any time.
I love that because you're so true and correct in that. Like I said, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and the outfits that she chooses to wear are just like, this weekend we went to the beach. Okay. The beach. She's wearing overalls, cowboy boots, and she's just so confident. This is her outfit and this is what she's going to wear. And I was like, I'm not going to step in the way. Like, you love it. You look good, girl. Rock it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I try not to be the parent that like shoves them into a, certain look or a certain corner or a certain whatever they're supposed to be. I just kind of like let them figure it out. And I don't know if that's good parenting or bad, but I think that allowing them to kind of build their own confidence from within is really important. And I feel like you said, sometimes we have that voice in the back of our head. Like, I know I've had it. Who are you? Why are you doing that? I'm just a weird person. I'm sure you've gathered that just by looking at my post on social media. I'm interesting. I'm weird, but I don't really have to explain myself. And I think that's kind of something that you help people, is not explain yourself, because this is who you are, just feeling good in it.
100%. Yeah, because what is normal anyway? Like, I'm like, who is normal? Aren't we all weird? Like, I'm a big believer in like, own your weird shit. Like, you like to do whatever they did. Like, you like to garden, which I don't think gardening is weird. I'm a plant lady. You can see one of my plants here. I have like so many plants in my house. It's ridiculous. But like, finding those things that make you happy and then just owning it, not worrying about fitting into any boxes or molds or having to act a certain way to be accepted. I find is like, really, that's the mark that I would hope that the women working with me can get to, is knowing who they are so strongly that they don't need to dim who they are to fit in.
And I feel like as women, that's something that we all struggle with, just because society tells us how we should be, just because we're women or we're mothers or we're whatever, and it's really hard. It is super hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel beaten down.
Absolutely. There's a lot going on, and when you look at back to the conditioning thing of certain voices in your head may have more pull than others. Like, I'm also into hypnosis and understanding, how the subconscious works at a very deep level. And when you have someone, say, in a position of authority or someone that you respect, and they say something to you like, well, people like you don't do that, immediately in that moment, a program is written and it's filed away in your filing system. Like, your brain works, it's got like this filing system. It's exactly like the movie Inside Out. I would love to talk with those people someday, because that is exactly so accurate of how your memories are stored. And so that file gets written because XYZ person says, whether it was a teacher that says, oh, well, you'll never amount to anything, or a parent, unfortunately, or someone that you loved says something to you. And because the way your brain is wired, it doesn't like to look for the good. Unfortunately, it wants to protect you. And so it looks for the bad. And so then you have that voice going on in the back of your head, probably for the rest of your life, unless you know how to rewire it, unless you know how to do something about it.
I will absolutely agree with you on that. I did not have the best upbringing, and I was constantly questioned on like, why am I doing certain things and that I should do this? Or one of my favorite is, well, I'm proud of you, but you could do better. And it was like, huh. And so that I think also kind of bled into my personal relationships,
Mm.
my romantic relationships, and even the relationship I had with my kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, I could be better. I could be better. And then it was like, how do you not transfer that to your kids?
Right. Yeah.
It takes a lot.
It does. It does take a lot. But even the fact of you being the kind of person that's aware that you don't want to transfer that to your kids automatically is going to make you a better parent. Like the kind of person that reads the parenting books, they're automatically going to be a better parent because they care enough to pick up a parenting book. Whether or not you read the book or not, that's an entirely different story. But being the kind of person that would even care to pick up the parenting book means you're already a good parent because you care enough to.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that because when I look at my parenting versus the parenting that was bestowed upon me, I go, well, even when given feedback, there was no trying, there was no caring. It was, I'm the parent, you do what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that doesn't really help
Right.
because I'm a why person. You have to explain to me why this is a thing. And that did not make for a good childhood. Don't ask why. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But questioning, I think, is a very healthy thing to do for children. And I think it's very healthy for women in general. Start asking yourself why.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I doing this? Because is it something that I like or something that someone told me I like?
Yeah.
That was a very hard transition for me to go through when I first started therapy. And I was like, huh, who am I?
Absolutely. I agree so wholeheartedly of deciding just what I said too with those voices of like whose voices are in your head telling you that? Like is that your voice or is it just a voice? Is it a voice of your mom, your dad, a cousin, a brother, sister? And do you really want to listen to those? And the power is that you get to choose, though. You get to choose what voices you listen to. You get to choose who you want to be doing things, all those, which is I think that's where the real power lies is in the realization that you don't have to stay where you were. I believe wholeheartedly in radical responsibility of, whatever happened to you. It's not always your fault what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to do something with it. Not victimize yourself, not let it continue to terrorize you throughout your life. And that's where the power in, like, it's so great that you're taking time for therapy to getting to know, like, hey, let's untangle some of these things. Hey, let's not believe some of these things. Let's not pass down. Like, there's so much power in that.
Absolutely. And it was something that really led me to believe that the relationships I was choosing were the ones the way I felt about myself.
Mhm.
And that wasn't really a representation. It was just what someone had told me I felt about myself.
Right.
So rewiring it was definitely very important for me, especially since I was going through so many other things at the time. I was like, I need to get down to business and figure it out. So let's talk about common challenges that you have faced while proposing this and doing it.
So I'm just like anybody else. I have the same doubts, the same fears, the same things that come up for me like any other entrepreneur out there, any other woman out there. Like there are days when I don't feel good about my body. There are days when I doubt myself and I don't know what the next step is supposed to be. There are days where perfectionism comes up and gets in the way and I'm wondering, oh, well, how do I have this all perfect before I get started? The difference is between who I am now and who I used to be is that I have tools and I don't let those things stop me. I just wrote some content today, and this month my focus is all around mindset, all around the voice in your head, like really quieting that inner critic and questioning it because it's not always going to tell you the truth. And so learning how to have tools in your toolbox to say, hey, I don't have to believe every stupid thought that I think. That's one thing that I love that I heard first from Dr. Amen. I don't know if you know who he is, but he has a children's book and it's called, it's like Captain Snout and the Superpower of Questions. And it's like this ant eater that goes and eats the ants, which are automatic negative thoughts. Like we all have these. And so from a young childhood, I'm teaching my kids that you should question every stupid thought that you have. Like, are you 100% that that's true? And we as adults need to do that too. Like, who said that you couldn't do that? Like, are you 100% it's true? And what's the evidence that shows that you can't? A lot of the time we build up stories in our minds of, oh, well, I can't do this because XYZ thing. But what's the evidence that you can? That's another thing that I bring in with my clients is teaching them to start building an evidence book, keeping an evidence book of, hey, I did this thing and this is how it did work out, and looking for not necessarily more positive, but look for when it did work out. Look for when you did have the answer. Look for when you started something and it led to something better.
That is really good. I love that. Instead of writing all the things you don't like about yourself, write all the things you like and everything you've accomplished.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I need to do. I'm going to go get a journal as soon as we're done today.
Absolutely do it. It's so helpful. And I have a gratitude journal in particular, and I like to think of my gratitude journal as part of my evidence, because it asks things like, who are people in your life that you like, just their presence makes life better, things like that. When I can look at my gratitude journal as, hey, this is evidence of I have good people in my life, I'm on the right path, all of those things, and you shift your mindset to thinking, what great things are going to happen to me, it shifts so much for you.
I will agree with you on that. Something pretty profound my ex-husband said to me like 12 years ago before we were dating. We were just friends. And he said that energy follows thought. And I was like, this sounds crazy, right? And so he proved it to me. We were driving somewhere and there was like one parking spot right next to the thing. And he was like, see, energy follows thought. When you think about it in the positives, like that's how you get to that level. And I was like, man, that's interesting. And so ever since then, like every day I wake up and my first thing I say is, I'm incredibly lucky that things always work out for me. And then they do.
Yeah.
It's when you have those negative thoughts, is like you're basically reaffirming, like with, the thoughts, yeah, I suck, or yeah, this is whatever. And it's really not that way. Like you have the power to change it, your energy and your frequency. And I believe in all of those things.
Oh,
Just look
100%.
at my life.
100%. All of that, I believe so deeply and so wholeheartedly. Like, we are the ultimate creators of what is happening in our life, and how you choose to show up and the energy that you have behind it. Even the emotions you bring to things. I talk a lot about this with my clients of, it's not necessarily your problem isn't the problem. It's how you are feeling, and the emotions that you're bringing about your problem is really causing the bigger problem. Like, okay, your problem is this thing to get over, but how you feel about it and all the emotion that you're bringing to it is making it a bigger problem than it needs to be.
Yes. Yes, because I went through a very interesting divorce, and it seemed like it was this huge problem that I'm never going to solve. But now looking back, it was just my mind. It was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life, to be
Mhm.
honest. So I do believe that 100%. I think that bringing that to women and being like, hey, you have the power is fabulous. Can we talk about your retreats that you offer?
Yes, so I'm offering my first retreat coming up this April. If it is not sold out yet at the time of recording, it hopefully will be sold out at the time of posting. And it is going to be in the Outer Banks this April. And it's really an opportunity to do a lot of deep inner work. It's an opportunity for a lot of fun, for connection. It's everything that I wish that I would have had on my journey. I'm a big believer in being in person. I do a lot of my coaching online. I do a lot of community things online, but there's something different about being in person. We talked about energy earlier, and you can just feel the energy of being with people, being in a room with supportive women, all on the same path, looking to grow, looking to deepen their relationship with themselves and other people. And so this is really an opportunity for women to step into who it is that they are capable of being, to unlearn a lot of the things that are going on in your head, and step into a confident, radiant version of yourself that when you go home, that you know that you can take on whatever life throws at you, because life is always going to throw things at you, and it's how you respond. It's how you choose to respond. Or maybe you're a reactor, but I'm the kind of person that would rather respond. And so I'm really this retreat is really giving an opportunity for women to rewire a lot of their beliefs, dig into a lot of the work, and step into a more confident version of themselves.
And what is the date and where is it held?
Yes, it is April 10th through 13th, and it's going to be at Corolla Beach. So that's the first one. I'm hoping to do another one this year. I already have quite a lot of people who they can't make it this time, but they want to come the next time. So I'm toying with another one before the end of the year. We'll see if that happens.
That will be so exciting.
Yes.
And side note, I have some people, I don't know if you've met them. This won't be in the podcast, but I need to introduce you to, because I think that what you do is amazing. So that being said, you've got to get with them. I went to a life rebalanced retreat, and that was in downtown Raleigh. And that was one of the things is I learned how to be around women who were uplifting, and they were there and they were positive and they wanted you to feel good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's kind of hard for you to find. I want to say like out in nature,
Right.
but I love that it was a retreat in order for everyone to be like, we all have the same goal. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you said you do some of your coaching online. What does your online coaching look like for someone who would want to participate?
Yeah, so right now I do one-on-one coaching. So either in a 6 or 12-month commitment, because I believe deeply in having someone there to assist you. You know, I've done 90-day programs before, and what I've found, even my own self, I've done 90-day programs for myself and I've done longer programs for myself. And really the idea behind having a longer program is that you're really pushing past what your average is, what your normal is when you commit to a longer coaching commitment, to have somebody with you as you are leveling up in your life. Then new things come up that weren't there before, and so it really gives us the opportunity to work on different things. I have a framework that I work people through, and it also is very customized to what are your goals? What are you going for? What are your biggest struggles? I teach everybody some core principles because there's things that I think that, you know, if you understand them, like the confidence thing I talked about earlier of putting an anchor on your body, or even understanding how to deal with the voice in your head, those kind of things I teach to everybody. Yet how we go about that and in what order is totally custom to what you're going through. I'm a very intuitive person, and I feed off of what the client brings me. There will be days where I have something that I'm like, okay, we're going to teach this. And then I get to the session and the client shows up and they're like, hey, I've got this challenge going on. Can we talk about that? And so we go there.
I love that you customize it, because I don't feel like people in general are one size fit all. And that's one of those things that I'd like to bring back into the world is customization.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, yes.
So how do you measure success for your clients and for yourself with this?
Yes, I love this question. So I'm not the kind of person that is like, this is what success means to me. To me, success means many things. To me, success is putting myself out there. To me, success is showing up and doing the work. It doesn't mean that you always get everything right, because what is right anyway? I'm the kind of person that questions things a lot because I'm like, well, what does that even mean? What's the reference there? What's going on? So success really is when you start to believe more in yourself, when you start to realize how capable you are and you start taking the steps on your own. I would call that success if you want to have like a total marker for it. But really, the biggest thing is when I can walk away from a session and I see a client, when I have left them better than when I found them, that's a success to me. I just had that happen just last week. I taught something to a client, you know, things that seem sometimes to me, I forget how revolutionary these small things are that I learned at the beginning of my personal development journey, that when I'm sharing them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forget that not everybody knows this yet. So I've got to teach this. That just happened. And this client was able to totally walk away with the use of a little word. I talked about words earlier with the NLP. Use a little word, and now I guarantee she probably already has this task done that she had been putting off, that now she's just getting herself to do it because she has a little magic word to use. So that's success to me, is really when someone is left better than when I found them.
That is perfect. And I love that, because I think that be the change you want to see, but also facilitate others.
Yeah.
Can we talk about some of your future goals for
Absolutely.
both yourself and your business?
Yes, absolutely. So, professionally, obviously, I have my retreat coming up. I would love to do a second retreat this year, and I'm also launching a membership for the first time. I keep saying that 2025 is my year to just throw things out and see what sticks. I'm in a very experimental, just learning mode. And this is what I meant earlier when you asked me about, what challenges do I have? I've had this, the idea of, oh, well, I have to have it perfect of knowing what to do. And it's like, no, I don't have the evidence yet. Going back to evidence, I don't have evidence yet. So I need to gather evidence right now. And to gather evidence, it means I need to throw something out and see how it worked and then evaluate from there. So this year, I'm doing a lot of that. This retreat, it's my first one. We're throwing it out there. We're seeing how it sticks. It's had a great response so far. Same thing with the membership that I'm creating right now, that's going to be probably like 2 calls a month in a group setting. And then my one-on-one, I'm sticking with that because I know that it works well. Those are some of my goals to do that. I would love to get more involved in person, whether that's workshops, really collaborating with people. That's one of my big dreams, is to collaborate with people who I align very well with, to assist women to believe in themselves. That's one of my goals. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I know I have a very strong network. One of the great things of moving here, I have found a lot of amazing women who've had my back, who have really just shown me that I can count on them. And I'm looking forward to continuing to build partnerships with women for that. And then let's see, personally, some of my goals personally is, this is kind of funny to admit. I would love to start pole dancing classes by the end of the year. I have a challenge that I've got to figure out before I get to that point. So I had, like I said, 4 kids, and I have an abdominal separation still. My youngest is 9 years old. So it's funny when you were talking about your 9-year-old daughter at the beach. I was like, my daughter would totally do things like that. Like, she just marches to the beat of her own drum, does not care. She put mascara on this morning. She went in her sister's room, her 14-year-old sister's room, put mascara on. I'm like, are you wearing makeup? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, let's not get into sister's makeup. Anyway, she's just her own person, and I'm going to let it fly. I'm like, whatever. So I'd love to start pole dancing. To get there, though, I've got to strengthen my core, get that back in check so that I can build up to the pole dancing. I'm big on exercise, weightlifting. I say weightlifting and training more than exercise. Again, back to the NLP, the word training and workout mean more to me than exercise. That's a fun little thing to check, is like, how am I talking about things of, do they mean what I want them to mean? Because exercise has a reference in my brain of like Richard Simmons, like when my mom would do the Richard Simmons videos. I don't really want to do that, but I want to train. Like, train is more serious. Train is something I'm like working towards something. That's one of my goals. I would love to travel more this year, which I've got my retreat is having me travel. I'm going to an event in Scottsdale this year. And I don't know, I'm just kind of taking it a month at a time right now as I'm building this retreat out. That's kind of my biggest focus. So I haven't really like planned out my full year yet.
And you know what? That's great. And you're doing it messy. And I love that, because that's one of my advices to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, do it messy, because you can always clean it up. But if you don't get started, there's nothing to clean up.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
I love that. And I'm excited about the pole dancing because, much like you, I had a C-section with my last one. My first 2 were natural, so that didn't have any issues, but this C-section has killed my abdominals. And I want to get into the pole dancing too. And so I looked into it, and Raleigh has a couple of different options. So I'm really glad that you're doing that. And the weight training, I'm also in that. I'm a little unconventional when it comes to my weight training. I like to go to Lowe's and just lift heavy things because I don't have a weight bench, but also it gets the creative. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm unconventional. It gets the creative juices flowing, because I'll be like, oh, those pavers, that would look good. Oh, this, I could build this. And then I go and I'm like,
I love it. That is awesome. I love that you figured that out.
Yeah, I just got body sponsored by Lowe's. They don't know that yet.
Oh, it's so
and
funny.
it's really a great way to also be outside and making sure that, because if I do decide to do a project, now I'm committed, right? And I'm still
Right.
lifting the weights and doing all the stuff, but I get to be outside. And that is really important to me.
Yes.
So I also wanted to ask you, what is one piece of advice that you would give someone who is looking to either start a business or just anything in life, honestly?
The best piece of advice I have is to look for a mentor. I don't believe that we were meant to do anything on our own. A lot of us think that we have this super secret big badge of honor if we struggle through life, if we struggle through something because we did it all ourselves and look at me, I'm so independent. But what is that really giving you? All it's really giving you is a headache, is a whole lot of stress, which is not good for your body. Not that kind of stress. There's good stress, there's bad stress, or necessary stress, unnecessary stress. I'll reframe that. But really looking for someone who can guide you. That is the biggest shortcut in life, is find someone who's done it before. One of my core beliefs is that if you model someone else and you do what they did, you can get what they got. So find someone who's done it before and ask for help, whether it's someone who has a program that says, okay, I'm going to help you write your first book, or whether, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds or get in the best shape of your life, whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's a business or feel better about your body or anything, finding someone who has walked that path is key. Because they're going to know all the blind spots. They're going to know, like, hey, this is what not to do, because they probably already did the not. So they know how to help you.
Exactly. Even one of my past guests said to me, even Michael Jordan had a coach. And I was just like, yes. And I think that people in general should have a life coach. You should have a business coach. You should, whatever it is your goal, definitely get a coach.
Yeah.
Because you're right. And that's kind of the reason I started this podcast, because I started a business and there were so many things I learned over the last 5 years that I was like, if I could just help one person not get trapped into the cycle of this is not worth it or whatever the situation may be, I could be like, hey, no, look, here's the direction to go. I went this way. I learned this. Go, be free, enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters to me.
Yes.
I really like helping.
Yes, I love that. And it's just so much easier to let somebody help you. I know that they're, again, going back to references, because I'm always going to reference, the NLP stuff and what's going on in your subconscious mind. Some people may have things built up that letting people help you is scary. So there may be some things that you have to fight yourself on. There may be some voices in your head that say, oh, well, it's not going to work out the last time I let someone help me. And it's really interesting going back to how I got into personal development. I was in a skincare and makeup company, and I joined a coaching program and it didn't work out. And the guy was a total sham. For us, I know he has since changed his protocols. People shout his name and praises, whatever. For me, it was not a great fit. It didn't work out. And I'm the type of person, usually it goes two ways, right? You have someone that's like, I'm never going to do that again because I had a terrible experience. Well, I'm the other type of person that's like, there's got to be something out there better. And something fell into my lap where I met one of my best mentors I've ever had, that I still have as a mentor today, that his stuff has totally changed my life. So letting someone help you.
I love that, because I feel the same way. Just because you had a bad experience once does not necessarily mean it isn't for you, but maybe find somebody who is. And I think that's really important too, to whenever you're getting a coach, ask a lot of questions. Make sure it's a good fit. Don't just go, well, I believe what they said. Here's money.
Yes.
You need to make sure that they're good for you too.
Yes. I actually just had this happen where I signed up for a coaching program without asking any questions, just believing, this was a good person, and they're a great person. They mean well. Their thing works for the people it works for, but it wasn't working for me. And I had to speak up and I said, I don't love this. This isn't a great fit for me. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Doesn't mean that they're wrong. Doesn't mean that the way that they coach is, not right or anything. It just means that we're not a great fit. So I highly encourage it. And in fact, I don't even let people come to my retreat without answering questions, without getting on a call with me, because I care so deeply about what are you looking for? And is this actually going to get you to what you're hoping to get? And if it's not, I'm going to steer you in a different direction, because I want to make sure people are a great fit.
And that is really important. So I wanted to say thank you from everybody. That is really great, because there are some people out there that are like, here's what I offer, and yours is customizable to that person.
Yeah,
So I think that's even more important. It's not just one size fits all.
100%. Yeah.
And sometimes that can be a thing, not just with coaching, but in general in life, not one size fits all for everybody. That's why I hate shopping for women's
Oh
pants,
my
but that's a
goodness.
whole nother story.
Same girl, same. I've been teaching my 14-year-old daughter all about that of like, okay, well, just because it says this size, let's measure yourself and then check the size chart, because you never know. A small could be anywhere from actually a small to a large. You never know.
Yes, and I love that about women's clothing. Sarcastic.
Right.
It's like, oh, so frustrating. Because especially me, just as just a side quest, because I have ADHD, I do not like going and shopping in person because I have to try on 17 different freaking sizes. I hate it. So like I'll go and I'll buy one, and then I'll turn around and get online because I know that this one fits me,
Yep.
and then I'll go buy 17 of them just because I just
Exactly.
know I don't have to deal with it again. It can be absolutely frustrating.
I feel
So
you.
tell everybody where they can find you. What is your social media and your website?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram is where I am the most active, at Shari Grigsby, and make sure to spell it correctly, Shari Grigsby. I have that fun name that everyone likes to pronounce incorrectly. And then my website is sharigrigsby.myflodesk.com. That's just, I don't have like an official website right now. I'm in transition with that. So I've got like a holding site right now for what's going on that goes directly to the retreat.
That's perfect. And tickets are still available. I looked today. So
Yes.
hopefully that it's not sold out by the time this does, so people can go and enjoy this retreat. I'm really excited about it. And we'll have you come back on in a year so we can catch up and learn more about what has happened since then and talk about your goals.
Yes, that would be so fun. I'd love that.
I'm so excited about that. Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview today and sharing your knowledge with everyone else. And I can't wait to learn more about you off camera. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.